Hey guys, I am Ibigandscary. I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay, this time featuring NoN's forsakeNXE, our blue Masters level Terran in the bottom left, and in the top right, his opponent is CallMeMaster. I'm not sure if it is a Doctor Who reference or a Call Me Maybe reference. Regardless, it's funny. He's our red Protoss player in the Masters League as well. Neoplanet S is our map. We're on the ladder, and we have an incredibly fast probe coming out from CallMeMaster. Not the most standard thing in the world. Didn't throw down a pylon on his way out. Probably going to be cheese more than anything else. Oh no, that SCV totally saw the the probe from CallMeMaster, and yeah, there goes the probe SCV from forsakeNXE. Just taking a look, see exactly what's going down. Sees the pylon going down. Super early probe. Forsaken knows exactly what's up, and what is he going to do about this? It's probably going to be a proxy 2 gate. Hopefully, CallMeMaster did not see the SCVs. He's still going to go through with this. I mean, it's a pretty safe assumption that he did not see the SCVs from forsakeNXE, because in order to do this, you really rely on the element of surprise. This is a pretty bad map to do it on. It's very hard to sneak it in. Sometimes I see it done down here, just because up here the barracks usually gets thrown down, and at that time you see the 2 gateways being produced, and usually you can have enough time to pull SCVs and actually focus this down. However, when it has been scouted like that, if you do end up pulling all of your SCVs, you sometimes lose a large chunk of your economy just because those SCVs aren't mining, and these gateways can get canceled and the economic damage is done. You're pretty far behind on the harvester count. Speaking of harvester count, we've got 12 to 14. This probe is going to be going home as these gateways finish up. You'll note the barracks positioning behind the mineral line for forsakeNXE. Since he knows what's up, he doesn't want to position it over here by the ramp. Interestingly, he is producing a supply depot and a bunker. Bunker is going to be well within range of those gateways, and yeah, I mean, you can see that even with that bunker being produced, not even a barracks, you can totally see that gateway. It's a weird positioning here from CallMeMaster. That first zealot's going to be coming out, focusing down the SCV, working on the bunker. Some other ones are being pulled just to buy time for that first Marine to get out. There he is, moving up to the top side. He wants to get in that bunker so he can begin to shell down damage on the gateway that's within range. These SCVs have definitely done their duty. They need to get back and make their way to the mineral lines. Whoa, speaking of mineral line, the orbital command has lifted off and is moving down as soon as the orbital command finished, basically. It was moving down, and while those SCVs are they basically sacrificed their life so that this bunker could get up, so that the rest of the SCVs could make their way out, all of them repairing each other behind this. Because of the concave here from these supply depots, only 1 or 2 SCVs are going to be able to repair this bunker, but with only 3 zealots out on the field, I don't think that's enough, especially with 1 in the red, to actually break this contain. So yeah, even though there's only 2 Marines in those bunkers, I believe that forsakeNXE has held this off with minimal losses, totally minimal losses. 5 workers killed total is that's pretty significant at this stage of the game. 11 harvesters to 16. However, for this sort of cheese, it's very well done. Very well done, especially nice unit control here. Those Marines will be able to pretty much out-micro those Zealots all day long, since they both kind of run at the same pace and have that hard point of the bunker to fall back. But with 5 Zealots out now, oh no more Zealots being produced. I think if he got up to around 8, he could probably target down that bunker, but he'd expect to lose about half of his Zealots for that. So I think both players are going to be sitting back, relaxing, now that the main for CallMeMaster, he's got his CybernX core up, but these guys are going to be targeted down. A Stalker being produced from that gateway, but with the pylon going down, that Stalker probably got canceled right at the end there, because we don't see it being produced on that gateway anymore. And it looks like both of these gateways are going to go down. Eventually, these Zealots are going to get cleaned up, and Forsaken's going to be able to kind of refocus on his macro. He needs to get up another CC, because eventually he's going to have to retake his main. It's very interesting to see that CallMeMaster has not elected to take a natural yet. It's really weird, actually. I mean, it's definitely overdue. He's got a probe moving out right now. He's redoing his tech back at home, but he's double tapping that gas, and he's not really using it for anything. Yeah, he's got a CybernX core coming up, but he's just now producing his 2 gateways back at home. Warp gate tech will be done eventually. It's probably making motions like he's going to be going for another all-in. Maybe he's going to be throwing down a Stargate, getting an orbital out, Oracle out there. Both of which would be pretty good ideas. I think at this time, CallMeMaster knows that since the natural has already been taken for forsakeNXE, he needs to... Forsaken is going to take his main back as soon as these zealots get cleaned up. And at that time, he's going to be up against a 2-base Terran against a 1-base Protoss. And every second that CallMeMaster delays is just 1 second longer that he lets the advantage that he gained by taking out those 5 SCVs just slip through his fingers. He's got a probe positioned over by the 3rd, which tells him probably going to be throwing down a proxy pylon. He does have 2 gateways up, 3rd one on the way. So probably some more aggression. Once that warp gate tech is done, probably just a bunch of stalkers more than anything else. But again, that's not going to break the choke that Forsaken's already set up. He's got another bunker down there. He's got 6 or 7 Marines up, and with all those zealots down, there's really not a lot that CallMeMaster can expect to do damage-wise with all of these stalkers. And it's totally going to be another all-in. He hasn't gone down that Nexus. Man, so CallMeMaster's definitely looking forward to ending this game very, very quickly. How many stalkers does he have out? 4 right now. He can expect to get another 3 in the next round of warp gate tech. We've got Stim on the way. A couple Marauders started. Just 1, actually. Not a couple. But another tech lab on the way, so probably going to be 2 eventually, and I'm a prophet. forsakeNXE is starting to retake his homeland, his motherland, producing another barracks, another CC. We can see that 5, 6, 7 stalkers are beginning to move out, but with that bunker produced already, well, it's sitting empty though, and the Marauder is not in it. That Marauder definitely needs to get in there and be the star of this show, because those Marauders do a lot of damage to those stalkers. But just with 7 stalkers against this kind of paltry force from forsakeNXE, I think this might actually work. I think he might be able to take down that bunker. He might be able to push through, especially if he takes him unprepared. Oh, clutch. 2 more Marauders popping out in the nick of time, but again, nothing in the bunker, nothing to repair the bunker. That bunker goes down pretty much immediately. The SCVs were pulled, but arrived just way too late. The stalkers beginning to kite back, target down a lot of those SCVs, 21 to 25 harvester count, and the advantage of CallMeMaster. But again, Master is not taking an expansion behind this. This is definitely all inish. This is really, he needs to do a hell of a lot more damage than he's done so far. Factory on the way, combat shield, and stem moments away from finishing. Forsaken needs to hold back this stalker push, but really can't commit to a major push outside of this choke area until those upgrades finish. And even then, he's going to have to wait for his next round of Marauders to pop out. Only 1 being produced right now. I guess a Marine's coming out of the other one. No, that barracks is just sitting totally empty right now, but it's because Forsaken's economy really isn't what it should be. Those SCVs have gone down and really suffered the brunt of these attacks. Some stutter set micro needs to get back to the meat shield so he can actually deal with these zealots. Another bunker, this time filled up with Marauders, being repaired fully by these SCVs. Great play there, targeting down every single one of the zealots. Those stalkers really, man, I've got to be very, very careful. Every second they stay way too close to the bunker, especially now that Stim is done. Those Marauders are doing a lot of damage. Combat shield also done. That Marine showing us just how resilient they can be, even being targeted down by these 9 stalkers. Oh, those stalkers clutch, take out a tech lab, making it so that the Marauder production falls down to just a single barracks. But again, that barracks remains silent, and it's because I guess an orbital command's being constructed. No, it's because all these SCVs aren't doing jack shit. They're repairing that bunker. They're not bringing in a lot of money, and that would be fine if this natural was accompanied by a main that was fully saturated, but unfortunately that main only has 1 or 2 SCVs actually mining there. The stalkers are having free reign with the supply depots on the north side. A blink on the way, great play, good idea from CallMeMaster. Oh, he's got a lot of stalkers, why not get blink? You know what else you could get? A Expo. He's got 400 minerals. Come on, man, you're killing me, Smalls. That Marauder bunker is definitely paying for itself, really shelling down a lot of damage on those stalkers. Again, eventually pushing them back. I think they know that, or suspect that there's a large force beginning to coagulate up here from Terran, but that would be the case if Forsaken had a fully saturated main, but he doesn't. His economy is just really in tatters. He's barely trickling in minerals, barely holding on by the skin of his teeth, and it's because so many of his SCVs are repairing this bunker. He really only needs about half of them. Even if those stalkers begin to attack, those halves would buy enough time for the rest of the SCVs to get pulled over here, but he really is just too shy. He's just too afraid of the constant aggression. Blink is going to be finishing in just a couple of seconds, but CallMeMaster has no way to spot the high ground, so unfortunately those stalkers won't be able to do the death stroke, which is to blink up onto the high ground. He'll probably have to blink past them somehow, but Blink's going to be finishing in just a couple of seconds, and we have the Dark Shrine also being thrown down. Oh my goodness, I wish I could just snap over to the base of CallMeMaster and be like, look at his base, look at his base. Okay, you memorized it, back to the action. Okay. Oh, Orbital Command is finally forced to lift off. And with that, the Stalkers now have a huge area to just do a massive concave on those SCVs, and with their numbers beginning to whittle down, it looks like that bunker is eventually going to get targeted down. But here comes 3 more Marauders. Remember, they have stim. Here comes the stim pushing in. 5 Marauders total. Oh man, so much damage being thrown down on those Stalkers. But remember, Blink is done, and they proved just to be too much. And now with, oh no, actually he kept a lot of those SCVs alive back at home, and still with two of his Marauders in that bunker. But Dark Shrine is around 10 seconds away from finishing. He only has 4 gateways up, but with a Forge also. Oh, good lord, I totally missed that. Nexus was going down while the Orbital Command was lifting off, I suppose, now that it's totally finished. Again, another large push from CallMeMaster. Oh man, he fails to crack the nut of the bunker just because of those SCVs, and every second that those Stalkers remain in range of those Marauders, they're doing so much extra damage. Good splits there from Forsaken, making it so that those SCVs, and also to keep them alive, repairing them, making it so that they, you know, don't have a hard time. Oh, he saw the movement of the Marauders, or the Dark Templar. He saw the movement, and so he knew to raise his supply depot. You could see him microing around those SCVs just because of the shimmer, because this is exactly where his attention would be through that choke. Awesome. That would have been absolutely catastrophic if those DTs had managed to make their way into the actual main base of forsakeNXE. But man, he's only on 1 base. Yeah, he's got another Orbital Command. Yeah, his saturation's not half bad back at home. He doesn't have any gas income except for just the single refinery, but his mineral income's not bad because he's doubling up on the mules, and so he's eventually going to be able to replace his army. However, with these Stalkers here, he can't take his own natural, and that is just terrible because CallMeMaster has elected to take his natural, and then you see his economy is absolutely booming back at home. He hasn't replaced any lost Stalkers in quite a while. Wow, look at all those pretty colors of their health, but he's beginning to work on his tech. He's got his +1 on the way, adding on more gateways. Does he have a Robo? Does he have a Stargate? No, still pretty much on gateway tech. Oh, but with Charge on the way from the Twilight Council, that gateway tech is going to be even more devastating later on. Don't agree with the plan of the SCV electing to repair the refinery, but that's because the auto repair has been checked on by Forsaken. I don't think that was a purposeful plan for him. And you know what else sucks for Forsaken is he can't lift off this Orbital Command and pop it over to the 3rd because the proxy pylon's positioned right there. This is pretty much the primary proxy pylon, but still that one would give him the ability to view them. Whoa, where did that detection come from? Missile turret up on the high ground. Absolutely fantastic. Just because he saw those DTs, wants to get the static detection. I love it. I love it. Doubling up on the Marauder production, too. Pretty much all he can afford to do on that just 1 base economy. He's got its refinery fully stocked now. A couple seconds ago, he only had 1 SCV on it, but now that he's got it fully going, that gas will allow him to double up on the Marauder production, which is totally what he needs to actually break this contain. I think he might have a large enough force to actually do that now. These Stalkers are incredibly weakened right now. +1's gonna be finishing for them, but with stim and combat shield, this is a more intimidating force, especially factoring in that medevac. But man, CallMeMaster has a commanding lead. Look at this, 50 over 20 harvesters, adding on the gateways. The only fault I see here is not really committing too much to tech. Yeah, he's got the +1, +2 on the way for ground weapons. It hasn't really done anything to armor yet, but I expect that's going to be following shortly because we do see that 2nd Forge being thrown out. Speaking of 2nd, we see a 2nd expansion, another Nexus, this time in the bottom right-hand side. Don't really agree with that. It's going to be very exposed, very far away, and frankly, CallMeMaster has such a commanding lead, he can afford to take his traditional 3rd. Here comes forsakeNXE, breaking the contain, finally forcing back those Stalkers, but again, 50 over 23 harvesters. That is just absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. +1 on the way. +1 all the way. Oh, look at that. +1 armor, +1 weapons. It's going to counteract nicely. Remember, these Zealots have Charge, and these Stalkers have Blink, so these Marauders do not have an extended lifespan to expect. Oh, seeing the Congo line of all those probes, he's going to know that this expansion actually exists, and that is brutal. That is absolutely brutal because forsakeNXE is going to suspect it. Here come the DTs doing quite a lot of damage for CallMeMaster, even though these Marauders are incredibly resilient. Clutch scan from Forsaken, being able to target down those DTs, but a lot of damage has been done, and it looks like these Marauders are going to have to fall back with 2 photon cannons there and quite a lot of gateway units. Yeah, no, these Marauders are definitely not going to be able to crack this egg, and whatever hope that Forsaken had in that push, hoping that he could get in there, actually do some economic damage, is really going to fall back. But remember, CallMeMaster has been stuck on this main base for a very long period of time. Only 3 mineral patches left. His natural is very fully saturated, but a lot of the probes that are transferring down to this third were cut completely. Caught by all those Marauders, caught by all those Marines moving over here in that initial aggression. And because of that, the economy for CallMeMaster is not nearly what you would expect, despite his significant lead in Harvesters. It's pretty much neck and neck. A little bit of a deficit on mineral, a little bit of a deficit on marine gas, but not the worst in the world. A DT, like a Phantom in the Night, pushing past, another probe being cut down, and this time I really hope that Forsaken cues in on that. It looks like he is moving down to the bottom right hand side, just electing to send a single Marine, but that Marine is going to see 2 photon cannons and a Nexus, and that's totally going to tell him where that third is located, and that is a huge deal, because Forsaken is going to be able to force the fight in an area that is not nearly as heavily fortified, not nearly as heavily choked as the natural for CallMeMaster, especially with the robotics bay going down and 2 robotics facilities up in the main base of CallMeMaster. Look at this engagement, nice open area, no force fields being thrown down, everything is being cut to pieces, and now with this stemmed Marine Marauder and Medevac group, he's going to be able to push forward. The 2 photon cannons have been unpowered. It looks like this Nexus is going to go down pretty much uncontested from CallMeMaster, and all of a sudden, Forsaken's back in this game. 46 over 32 Harvesters. That number is beginning to fall as the probes try to transfer away from those Marines. But yeah, that Nexus is totally going to go down. Not going to do it. A single Immortal with a couple of Stalkers and Zealots trying to come back in, but seeing this sheer force, they are electing to retreat. Here's what I'm talking about. 2 robotics facilities have been constructed. The robotics bay is also up, so those Colossus are definitely going to be very handy against this primarily bio force coming out of Forsaken. But remember, Forsaken has the hypermobility. He's got all these medevacs that he can fill up with Marines and Marauders and drop them in all sorts of areas. And as long as he keeps CallMeMaster contained to just a single base, eventually he's going to run out of money. Eventually he's going to keep trading cost effectively. Oh, he's got to retreat from this, though. I mean, that is a very intimidating force considering the upgrades. +2 armor is on the way. +2 weapons is going to be finishing in just a couple of seconds. It looks like the Center Step Micro from the Marauders has proven too much for the Immortals, and I mean for the Zealots, but the Immortal has proven too much for the Marauders. The aggressive blink from CallMeMaster succeeding in focusing down 2 of those medevacs, but no, here's the turn of the table. It looks like all those Stalkers, only 4 of them surviving. That Immortal and the Zealots go down, but at the same time, the third is more than halfway constructed. Again, very exposed. I wonder why he's not taking this more traditional location over here, especially against the player that's dropping. This third being taken here can add a little bit of an early warning system. Look at all this tech that's just kind of crammed in here. He could snipe down these robotics facilities, maybe snipe down the Dark Shrine. So yeah, Forsaken has the infrastructure to do a lot of drops, and I foresee that that's going to happen. Just because that's something that Bio does so incredibly natural, and Forsaken's behind. He needs to, continue to get back in this game. Even though he's been trading absolutely fantastic, he has 2 bases, and a 3rd base has been taken by Protoss. Yeah, he's ahead on the Harvester count, but there's 3 Nexuses that the CallMeMaster can just triple up on the probe production. Yeah, we can see that that's beginning right now. The tech is also very behind. He's got the medevacs, but that's little it. I mean, he's +1 armor is just now finishing. Weapons is at 2, or is at 1, not quite at 2. But we've got extended thermal lance. We've got Colossus coming out. We've got 2/2 coming out for CallMeMaster. So even though he hasn't been trading in the most, the resources lost tab definitely shows you that Protoss has not been trading very well against Terran. CallMeMaster can afford to throw away a lot of minerals. He's got a lot of, he's rich. He's rich. Here comes another push from Forsaken, but no, this is just more of a scouting party than anything else. More of a distraction than anything else. It looks like a drop going off to the top right-hand side, focusing down the robotics bay that was busy working on the extended thermal lance, and now pushing it in to attack these key tech structures. That's exactly what I was talking about. Why would you not get your 3rd here? The 3rd makes it so that you have vision in that area, the area that those medevacs had flown in. And look at all that key tech that was just lost by CallMeMaster. He lost 2 robotics bays, robotics support bay. You know what I mean. He lost 2 robos. He lost the robotics facility, and that is just absolutely clutch. It puts him behind by such a significant amount. He's got the Twilight. No. Templar Archive somewhere. Templar Archive's down at his natural. His AoE of choice is going to be the Psionic Storm. He's got 4 of them on the way right now. But even with that, he would have loved to have at least one Colossus out, especially after investing so much into not only constructing a Colossus, but also in getting the Extended Thermal Lance, getting 2 Robos up. That loss is absolutely brutal. Again, CallMeMaster has a 3rd up. His economy is definitely looking good, but a 3rd has also been taken by forsakeNXE in the more traditional location. And he is transferring down his SCV, so this game is most certainly stabilized. In fact, I might hazard the guess that it's in the favor of Forsaken. He doesn't have the most intimidating ground force in the world, especially when compared to the ground force that we see out of CallMeMaster. He's going to be able to do a lot of feedbacks. He's going to be able to do a lot of storms to shred that bio ball. But if Forsaken continues to play this cat and mouse game where he's dropping in the back door while he's poking at the front, it could definitely continue to go his way, especially with the supplies being so incredibly even. This is very, very tense. Once again, Forsaken poking up to the 3rd, but this time there is an observer very cleverly located there. He's going to be able to see that that is indeed where the main force is, and CallMeMaster is ready for the push this time. Watch for the feedback, watch for the storms. Those zealots going in, accompanied with some DTs too, pushing them all the way back. There goes a huge storm on all those medevacs. He just needs 1 more of those, and they've gone down completely. Only 2 of these medevacs are full, which will show you just how paltry this ground force actually is. Pushing in no stem, this guy not even electing to drop off any of his ground forces. Still, that is enough to do some damage to the infrastructure, but it looks like CallMeMaster is repositioning his army very, very quickly, pushing back up into the main base, rebuffing them. I don't think he lost anything but a couple of pylons, maybe a gateway, nothing more. Leaving behind another drop, but again, that observer was within range, and it looks like the Templar are waiting. Where's the feedback? Where is the feedback? Oh my goodness, 20 hit points left. That is brutal. If he had managed to get a feedback on the other one, it would have died, actually, and that would have been absolutely clutch. So CallMeMaster knows that drop is there. He's very defensively positioning his main force. His 3rd is very well saturated. In fact, he's probably thinking about taking a 4th, probably in this location. Please tell me it's going to be in this location, not down here, not in the gold. Oh man, look at this ground force from Forsaken though. It's still kind of not shitty. It's not bad. It's just not as impressive as you would expect. He's got a lot of supply hung up in these medevacs, and he's using that to the best of his advantage. He's doing drops, and he's making it so that Protoss has to spread itself very, very thin. But on the same time, Protoss has reproduced its 2 Robos, producing 2 Immortals at a time, and those High Templars are out for blood. It looks like CallMeMaster is getting ready to push out, going to be poking into the 3rd. That is not a planetary fortress. That is a very weak orbital command, and it is going to be in for a world of hurt. These Marines and Marauders are totally scouted out by that observer. He knows exactly what to expect. Here comes the huge storms. Oh my goodness, the Zealots just being a little bit too aggressive, pushing in. Oh my goodness, he's taking a 4th in the bottom right. What? CallMeMaster, you crazy bastard. Oh man. Got to be careful though. Where's the defensive storms? You just need to drop down 2 of them on this. Oh wow, look at that. Right on the ramp. Right on top of those Marauders. They take so much damage, but supported by such a ridiculous number of medevacs, these Marines and Marauders are eventually going to push forward, forcing the liftoff from the orbital command, but it is being repaired from underneath. If CallMeMaster wants to, he can definitely kill that orbital command, but he doesn't want to get caught. The Marines and Marauders are continually pushing forward, accompanied by a lot of SCVs. There is no drop from these medevacs in the top left-hand side of CallMeMaster's base. That needs to have happened. That needs to happen while this aggression was going on. I feel like Forsaken was just kind of missed that opportunity just for a little bit of extra damage during this initial attack. The 4th has been taken in the bottom right, but man, that means that CallMeMaster's slow and methodical force Death Ball is going to be kind of stuck in the bottom right-hand side. At the same time, Forsaken is going to be pushing in with his Marine and Marauder force into the main base of CallMeMaster, again focusing down the Robo, and that is going to go down in just 2 seconds flat. It just gets melted. Oh my goodness. And Forsaken is poised to strike forward with another large force. Man, these drops are absolutely wrecking CallMeMaster's base, and frankly it's because his unorthodox building positioning. He needs to have had that Nexus right here, and if that were to happen, then his main force wouldn't be in the bottom right-hand side. It'd be right here. It would be able to push forward and actually deal with these drops coming out of Forsaken. It would be able to actually deal with this large force pushing in to take out the Nexus rather than being stuck in you know, the weird corners of the map. It looks like these storms are definitely doing a number on Forsaken's force. It looks like this ground force is totally going to get cleaned up. The Immortals and the Stalkers. Wow, no. Marauders are great. Holy crap. Everything is going to get targeted down, but only a handful of Marauders remain. The Manor Mule going down with nothing to see it, because I'm pretty sure that CallMeMaster's entire force has been decimated. Speaking of decimated, here's CallMeMaster's main base. Oh my goodness. Totally just destroyed. Another strike force. Forsaken currently has 3 armies marauding around the map, taking out Nexus after Nexus. We only have a single mining base that's going to be left after this. The Naturals can totally mined out. Main's totally mined out. 3rd has been taken. 4th defended by some DTs, but only for a matter of time, as it is so far away from anything that can produce units. It's not even funny. Relying pretty much exclusively on DTs right now is a great idea. Those DTs are cutting a swath through all of Forsaken's forces, but there goes the scan. It looks like all of them are going to get targeted down. Really, Forsaken just needs to pull back, remake an army that's capable of cracking the Nexus in the bottom right-hand corner, and that should be it. Quite a lot of a bank for CallMeMaster, so he could definitely afford to produce a lot of High Templar, maybe get out some Archons. The DTs are doing quite a lot of damage, but again, it's just one scan, and then those DTs melt away. They'll need to become Archons for the coming fight. This is really going to boil down to just one big fight, if that. I mean, look at this force pushing out from Forsaken's main base. He's got more than twice the supply of CallMeMaster. This game, I have no idea how he managed to get back into this after that initial aggression. I mean, he saw that it was coming. He handled it very, very well, but even handling it very, very well, he lost quite a lot of SCVs to that Proxy 2 gate. And then he just kind of drop after drop, and really CallMeMaster set himself up for failure, because he really had his heart set on getting a hit and expand in the bottom right hand side. Neoplanet S is not the biggest map in the world, and it's very fat, meaning that everything eventually sees everything else. The medevacs that are going to do a drop, they take one of 2 pathways into your main base, and both of them go over these corner expands. You're going to take a hidden expand down here, it's going to get seen by Terran, totally. Much better idea to take your 3rd right here, make it so that you can actually wall this off. I've seen it done with you know, the 3 gateways that you usually throw on once you take a 3rd, and then you just position your death ball right in here, and you can pop up to the top left to defend your 3rd, down to the bottom right to defend your main or your natural, and you don't have to defend your main because they're sandwiched between 2 bases, and you always have vision for any medevacs that are going to go in there. Instead, CallMeMaster was like, nah bro, everything on the right side is totally the way to go, and it's not. Yeah, it totally gave Forsaken the opening to abuse drops to get back into this game, and that's exactly what he did, and kudos to him. Kudos to you guys for watching my replay. If you have a game you want me to cast, you could PM me here or on Reddit. One way or another, I will see you guys later. I am Ibigandscary. Bye.